Hey everybody, John here with the Simplest Biz. I'm doing a part two. This is a continuation of the 25 reasons I've stuck with this business model, the Simplest Biz model for the last 21 years now. And I'm going to go into detail on each of the things that that you'll be seeing on the screen, and that way you'll have a deeper understanding of what's going on with this business. Now, understand before I get started going through this that I'm kind of exposing you guys to what takes place once you have this thing in place. Now, you have to learn how to get it in place, and that's what the training is for that I provide for you. A lot of the after effects of getting these things in place are great because you're rinsing and repeating the model, and these accounts just actually, they're ordering week after week after week. Okay, so there's a lot to learn to get to this spot where you can actually execute this on a daily basis. And that's my job to teach you. And that's why I have a training course that will teach you. I'll provide a link in the description field below this video for you to be able to go to and opt in for some information. And you'll be getting some emails after you opt in, of course. And that will guide you through visually seeing a lot of the stuff that I'm talking about as well. Okay. I have interviews with other students and podcasts and me out in the field with video diaries. And there's all kinds of stuff that I want to share with you so you can see yourself doing this business model. All right. This is not like an internet-based business where you have to learn 500 steps, or I'm exaggerating, or whatever, all the different skill sets you need to perfect as an internet-based business. It's not an MLM where you're having to go out there and recruit people. You get these accounts, they stick with you, and they order over and over. And that really leads into the first one. So let's jump in. Number 11, my customers are evergreen, ordering over and over again every week for decades. Why is that so important? Well, for you, once you get an account, once you learn how to set these accounts up and what to say and how to approach these businesses and where they are and who they are, what their problems are, what their sweet spots are, once you learn all that through the training, and I guide you step by step on how to do it, then you have that evergreen model. I don't have to hit the pavement, week after week, wondering where my next sale is coming from. This model, because of the nature of the product, it's these pallets and crates and drums and dunnage and all that. Well, those buyers are shipping their stuff out in a lot of cases, and they never see it again. And they run out and they order more. Now, you probably heard me say that, but that's just the nature of this. They have to have this product to operate. So it puts you in a position of strength. Okay? So that's why it's evergreen. The customers I've had for literally, a lot of them for decades. And of course, I've built this thing out over the years as well and added more and more customers for my business. And you will do the same thing. But once you have them and you serve them the right way and do this the right way and do this different than the other guys out there that are pretty weak at doing this model, or they're not even doing this model, they're doing it wrong. But we'll get into that later. This is a wonderful security blanket that's wrapped around me for very, very long time. And I am able to use this business model to give me freedom to do all the other things I like to do in my life. Okay? Now, I have students that build this thing out and they do it all day long, every day of the week. I have students that need supplemental income. I have students that replace their income, but don't have to work the 40-hour week. So it's all a matter of you looking at your situation and figuring out where you are at and going from that process. So let's move on to number 12, okay? My customers are salty the earth folks. No stuffy suits to deal with. So we're not dealing with, the owner of the business. We're not dealing with doctors and lawyers, marketing people or anything like that. We're dealing with the warehouse managers and forklift drivers and the guy, handling the orders and stuff for that particular business. So it's salt of the earth. It's very easy to communicate with them. That way, when we approach them and are talking to them about what we have to offer and how we can help them, this is not some stuffy boardroom type of event. You need to know what to say. You need to know your stuff. You need to know the lingo, of course, to make this work, because they can smell a rookie a mile away if you don't know your stuff. And that's why I have this training, so you can go in day one as a professional and sound like a professional and help these businesses out, because you're going to be exposed to a lot of information in this training. Okay, so I even have, and you might have heard this on another podcast, but these folks are fun to deal with. A lot of them give me a hard time just for the heck of it. They're jokesters. And then I have accounts where I'm getting loaded up and I'm playing ping pong with the warehouse manager or the owner of the place. So that's the type of individuals and the type of industry that we're dealing with. So it's a blessing to be in that type of environment instead of the high pressure stuff that the rest of the world has to deal with. So that's another benefit to this business. Number 13, this is very important. I can't tell you how many times I get on the internet. I don't see 50 million other folks doing the same thing, invisible niche. I get on the internet and I see, 20 ads on marketing or setting up your, your lead gen sites, or on coaching and drop shipping. And I just know from the people I've talked to and seeing these internet-based business, MLM-based business, Bitcoin, there's so many people doing it. And it's so difficult to differentiate yourself from all the other people doing that. Okay, especially when it comes to, well, they're all like this, but a great example was drop shipping with Amazon. Is it a great, business if you could get it really going? Yeah, I suppose so, but, Amazon makes you jump through a lot of hoops. Google makes you jump through a lot of hoops. So I'm sure you've come across a lot of this stuff. This is unique. There's not a million people doing this. In fact, the ones that are doing this, and I'm not talking about my students, they're spread far and wide all over the globe. So it's not glutted. But the actual individuals, since it's so invisible and so unsexy looking, the normal population isn't involved. So there's a lot of actually irresponsible individuals out there doing it the wrong way and causing a lot of problems for their customers. Or they're not even dealing with customers. They may be dealing with pallet yards or something, and leaving a ton of money on the table. I get stopped by them all the time because I'm moving all different types of stuff, and I'm at the gas station pumping gas in my truck, and they're going, "What are you doing with that? How are you moving that?" And these are guys I've seen around for a decade, and they're still stuck, messing with the wrong part of the business, okay? And they don't know how it works. They don't have a good business mindset. So it's an easy get for us to be able to get out there and make, get your sliver of the action and really help and serve these businesses the way they should be served. They're being underserved is the main point as well. I think I really have gone over number 14. I've had some of the same customers 20 years strong. But the second half of this, so I don't have to go find new customers to make this a success. So once you get those initial customers, a handful of them, and I'll teach you methods of turning 5 revenue streams into 15 revenue streams. There's a lot of different opportunities. This is not just selling pallets, one style pallet to one business. There's a lot more to it, and I'll walk you through that process in the training. That way, you will always have orders coming in on different items, even from the exact same customer base, okay, on different things that we're going to execute. And there's a way of going about that, and I'm going to show you that in depth, step by step, roadmap, blueprint in the training, okay? I have time to play golf 7 days a week if I choose. Now, the funny part is my wife doesn't let me get away with it like I used to way back when. So, there's a lot of times I'm able to do a couple loads, be done by 8:30, and, I could sneak off to the golf course and play 18 and be home by, noon if I choose to. Again, my wife doesn't let me do that as much as my mind wants to do it. So I but I could. I end up, since I have a lot of responsibility now with students, and that I really devote a lot of times toward that now. And yes, I still play golf. And I will sneak off from time to time and play 18 in the middle of the week if I choose to. Okay, but it gives you a lot of freedom to be able to pick and choose your hours and be able to knock this stuff out. Now, if you need to do this in the afternoons, fine and dandy. There's businesses open 7 days a week, 24 hours a day that we can deal with, and they're not as many, of course, but that's another option as far as that goes. So you can execute this literally from 5 a.m. in the morning and all the way up to 6, 7 o'clock at night in a lot of cases. Okay, so you squeeze it in and tailor this to what your situation is in your life. Next, I have time to figure out other business opportunities without the stress. We're on number 16, without the stress of worrying about money, like building out an internet business. I've touched on this on a previous video, but again, since we are not trading time for money, meaning I'm not working by the hour, I show you as well, move 300 pallets this morning before 10 a.m., 200 pallets, 150 pallets, whatever the case may be. But if you're able to translate 150 pallets at $5 a piece and you got them for free, well, that's a pretty good hit. That's what, 5 times 150, 500, $750, right? I'm terrible at math. So, and it doesn't take long to execute. So what I get at in this particular model, it leaves you this extra free time if you choose just to do this and make really decent money part-time with part-time work. Well, it leaves you an extra 6, 7, 8 hours, or 6, 7 extra work hours a day to devote to some things maybe you had on the back burner and you really want to go after in your life. For me, I did some internet stuff. I don't know, a few websites on top of what I do here, and it really about broke my brain figuring it all out. But I didn't have to worry if it didn't work. Maybe you have something on the back burner you've always wanted to try. You got the money rolling in with this because it's a quick get, and the money's good because of our profit margins are incredible. So that way you're able to devote a part of your life. Maybe, I have students that do this and then they're also in ministry, right? So they get to, or they've had a new kid and they get to spend more time with their kid. Now, listen, don't get me wrong. When you start this, you're going to hustle, especially in the beginning. I want you to hustle, get your hustle muscle on so you can build this out quick and then get in that position. So it ain't going to fall in your lap from day one, of course. But I'm giving you a roadmap. I'm telling you where to go, who to talk to, what to say, what the options are, all the different solutions are, what to note. I mean, there's so much information in this course. It's if anything, it's overkill. But I want you to know everything I've learned over the last 20 years, and you're not going to find this information anywhere else. Okay. Let's go on to number 17. I have a multitude of revenue streams attached to the Simplest Biz. That means, I alluded to it earlier, we become a one-stop shop for these businesses, and we get multitudes of, one customer ordering 3 different items from us, right? So that way we have multiple revenue streams per customer. So if you get 5 accounts, 4 accounts, you can literally turn those into 12 revenue streams. In addition, there's a lot of one-off things that you can do. There's passive income that comes into play as well with the brokering that I teach in this, where you don't even leave the house and you can make a sliver of the action and set the deals up. So there's a lot of different areas in this particular business model. There's a lot of different revenue streams to attack, and it makes it a convenience for the buyers as well, because they don't have to have an account with this person and this for boxes and this person for this and this person. You can become the one-stop shop for these particular businesses, and that's a great thing. All right, and it gets easier and easier over time, because the more you work this, the more opportunities that come into play, the more dots that get connected, the more places that you've been led to by this training, so you can make your radiuses tighter and tighter and become more and more and more efficient. Okay. Number 18, sense of security. No matter where I live, I can ramp this up in no time. So when I started this back in 1998, and this was without a roadmap, without a blueprint, without knowing anything. It was very difficult, but I'd been exposed to it to the point where I got to figure this out. And I literally busted my tail. But the fact that I did bust my tail and I kind of just stumbled into some accounts and even put myself in some squirrely situation. So I don't advise you doing it this way. But I had to, it took me a couple years to really get this thing very efficient and branch it out and know all the ins and outs. But it really got me off to a fast start. So those initial accounts I got, one, I've had them all the way to this day, the majority of them. One did go out of business. And they order over and over and over again. So I have this no worry type situation of where my money's coming in. And it allows me to do these other things as well, whether it be internet stuff or music or my art studio or that type of thing. I don't have to worry, oh my God, if this other stuff doesn't work, I'm going to be in the poorhouse. No, we had a steady stream and a relaxed type of business here that we know that we're serving our customers well, and we know that they're going to order again and again and again from us. So it's a great, charmed life if you follow the instructions in this training and get going. All right. So let's go down to the next one, kind of breeze through these. I know this is going to be a little long. I get the privilege of sharing the knowledge with others while keeping them helping them completely change their life situation. Well, this is really a personal thing for, just on me. I take this very seriously, teaching this training on how you guys can duplicate what, for yourself and put yourself in this situation, and have the knowledge going out with confidence, going out that how to approach these businesses and what you're going to say and which questions you're going to ask and which solutions you're going to have for them and what you're going to notice. And you'll visually be seeing this throughout the training, so it really hammers it home in your mind. So for me now, I get to show people this, and I kept it under my hat for 19 of the 21 years I've been doing it until I made this training. So it's been a blessing for me to be able to share this and have other people go out and duplicate it, because it's the same everywhere. There's nothing special about Birmingham, Alabama, where I live. In fact, it's a pretty small municipality. In fact, I only deal with a lot of the stuff I deal with are in smaller, like I'm dealing with populations of 15,000 and 17,000 and 20,000 in the outskirts of Birmingham. Where a lot of my business comes from. So small town, 10,000 people or whatever, you can make this work because you're not having to dominate the whole city. Okay, so it provides me. I'm grateful that I've been able to show folks this particular opportunity and guide them through the process. And I'm looking forward, if you think this is for you and you do your research, doing the same for you. Okay. 20, the security of knowing I can provide for my family with ease and never be caught in the crosshairs of a layoff or reduction. So I know a lot of people in corporate, they're working that 9 to 5, and I've seen the layoffs, I've seen the reductions in force, I've seen them devote years and years and being a corporate cog basically, and because of they got bought out or this, that, and the other, their job evaporates. And they're having to figure out. I talk to people all the time that are interested in changing up stuff with their life and looking into this, that have been through that. And I don't have to worry about it. Yes, is it on me because I'm working for myself? Of course. But do I have a model that works, that can be duplicated? And if I choose to move, I can start up anywhere I want or keep it going here. And also, if I move to Atlanta, could I start it up in Atlanta as well? Absolutely. I mean, I could have actually somebody do this business for me here in Birmingham and pay them by the hour or whatever, but sit at the house, truthfully. But I like getting out there and dealing with my customers, and we have a lot of good relationships that I've built, through this business model, and that's another thing. But I don't have to worry about this model evaporating. This is how the world moves. This is the picks and shovels, as I was referred to. This is how these pallets and crates and drums, they touch 85% of all commerce that is moved in this country. It's the way everything gets from A to Z. Not the trucks. Well, trucks help too, but an empty truck without 80 pallets on it, without carrying any inventory, is worthless, right? So this is how it's all moved, and I hope that makes sense, and I hope you internalize that, because this is the model. I haven't seen it before, where you're getting 95% of your product for free. You're able to sell it, and if the businesses don't have this, they can't operate. Well, that is putting all of us in a position of strength and security. So I want to relay that information to you as well. It's a very specific niche, and there's a reason I've stuck with this particular niche for so long. It's because this is how the world moves. And these businesses I deal with, they have a respect for what I do. They need me. And that allows me to dictate when I work, and not have to worry that some anti-gravity machine is going to come along and move products from point A to point B. And even if it did, it'd be so expensive it wouldn't work, for these mid-sized and smaller businesses. So I know this is going to be around for a very, 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 very long time. Okay? And I want you to know that as well, if you're considering this for your life and are curious about getting in on the training. Number 21. I don't have to work in a cubicle and get dressed up in a suit. I love this part. It might seem small, it might seem this, but I can't tell you how many people I talk to and that I know, and they're stuck in that cog in the machine of a corporate life, or even they own their own business, but they haven't created a business for themselves. They've created a job for themselves, and they're chained to it. Same type of situation. So maybe you love the cubicle life. I don't know many people who do, but I like getting out there, and the fact that I just leave the house and I'm able to go here, and every day is a little bit different, even though it cycles a little bit on a weekly basis. I have different interactions and different situations that are coming at me on a daily basis. I'm not stuck inside somewhere having to work for somebody else and make them money. I'm making me money, and I'm satisfying the customer as well, and serving them in a correct manner where it's a win-win, whether it be the supplier, the buyer, and myself. And that's a charmed life, and I want the same to help as many other people out there that are considering this do the same thing. Okay. 22 is basically the same thing. It's no boss to dictate my life. I'm my boss. Well, you could say we all have customers that were bosses. They're our boss, our customers or whatever. But again, this particular model, I dictate when I work. I don't wait for the phone to ring. I'm able to call my customers up and dictate what I'm bringing, when I'm bringing, how much I'm bringing, within reason, of course. So they're not really my boss either. I want to serve them well, because that's my nature, and that's what you should do as a business person. But I don't have somebody micromanaging my life. If I don't want to go into work until noon today, I go in at noon, which actually is the case this morning. The traffic was horrible, and then I left. I know this is silly to go off on this tangent, but I left my wallet at home and got a couple of miles from the house. It took me 45 minutes to get back to the house. So I got back here and I said, you know what? I'm not working until noon today, because I don't want to deal with the traffic that I got into earlier this morning. Well, that's me calling the shots. If you work for somebody else, you got to be there at 8 a.m. or 9 a.m. And if you're not, maybe you're getting written up, or, not every boss is nice either. So you might have to deal with some tyrant, or micromanager, or whatever. I'm not sure what your situation is. But this situation is a nice situation, and I want to help you get to into this particular situation if you think it's for you. And the training is going to guide you to get this off to a fast start so you can get away from having to work for somebody else. This is America. You know, there's a lot of opportunity in America, and you need to carve out your own thing, because the profits and that you can reap and the amount of people that you can help, it's a lot more satisfying than having to work for somebody else and make their business grow, and they're just compensating you maybe not what you actually deserve. Well, you know, we're all doing better we deserve. I always say that, but I'm just saying, you know what you're capable of. Are you getting what you need? All right. I haven't had to trade down time for money in 20 years. I mean, I don't have to work by the hour. Sorry about that. 1 second. I don't have to work by the hour. I'm not trading my time for money. I have a method and a business model where if I can move 300, 400 pallets before 11 o'clock, I'm compensated for those units, you know, and then I'm getting them for free 95% of the time, or have a large markup if I'm having to pay $1 a piece for something. That translates into really good business income for me. And that way I know I'm my own boss, and it allows me to make as much money as I'm willing to work for. And that's a nice thing. Is there a little pressure involved in that? Well, absolutely. Anytime you work for yourself, there's pressure for that. I look at it like I wake up unemployed every morning. Not that I am, truthfully, because you know I have a steady income, but it's a good mindset to put yourself in. And I get to dictate what I get to make. And if you got some hustle muscle and a good work ethic, there's no reason you can't duplicate this for yourself. Okay? I'm happy wife, happy life, you know. I get to spend more time than most people do with my wife. We get to do more things than most people do with their wives. And I love the time that I have available to spend with family, because I can arrange my life when there's certain things going on, you know. So my wife has a doctor's appointment. A lot of times I can go with her and be there with her. Or if we have an event for Logan, stepkid, I can attend that, you know, and not have to worry about having to be chained to a JLB. Okay, and that provides happiness, and plus I got a moral obligation to provide security for my family. So this allows me to do that, and that helps in any relationship, in any marriage or girlfriend or whatever. We got a moral obligation to do such, and that translates into a sense of security for everyone involved. Okay, and I want the same for you. 25, not embarrassed to show my check stubs to anyone ever. That translates back to, you know, I'm able to move a lot of product. I'm able to get good money for these units, whether it be crates and drums and dunnage or corrugated boxes. And I'm able to get a lot of this, 95% of the stuff for free. So your profit margins are great. You know, a lot of times my only expenditure is gas, you know, when I'm going out there. And that's a nice thing. I don't have any employees. I don't have a lease. I don't have warehouses. You know, I don't have people to execute this other than myself. So that's a wonderful thing as well. I don't have the burdens that a normal business has. And that's, again, why I've been doing this business model for a long time. And if you're in a position to consider it, you need to do your own research and put yourself in that position and learn how to do this yourself. Okay? Last bonus, I just kind of mentioned it. Why is this popping up like that? All right, bonus reasons: no employees, no warehouse, no lease, solo biz, and, you know, vacation time. If I want to take a vacation at the end of this week, I could go load up my customers and with pallets before I leave, so they don't run out. I could have somebody else execute it while I'm gone if I want to take an extended vacation, and I have checks coming in. All right, because they cannot operate without this stuff. Now, I know this has been a long video, probably the longest one I've done, but I'm here to convey to you to consider this business model. Is it something you like, I want to be a pallet guy or something, or have a pallet business or whatever, middleman business like this, and you probably never thought about it or seen it or conceived it. So this is unique. This is something that can be done anytime USA. So do yourself a favor, I would say. Maybe I'm biased, but I want you to do your research on this. I want you to set an appointment up as well, so we can go through the materials that I'm having you opt into. Click the link here on here, opt in, get some materials. I'm interviewing other students and all this other stuff out in the field. I want you to see this and see if you can put yourself in that position. Okay, and then set the appointment, and because you're gonna have questions. Set it up. I'm going to show you some things about moving forward as well, and the cost of this, of getting in and learning this training. But I got to have a conversation with you to do that. And I need to know who you are, and kind of, you're not working for me, but I want good students. I want people that see this and want to make a positive impact on their life and change their situation. So if that's you, that's the process I want you to go through. And I'll have the links under here as well for you to get started. Once you opted in, you'll get a lot of information, and then you'll also be required to, asked to set an appointment up to have a phone chat. It's not a sales call. We're not trying to sell you, or me or my people are not trying to sell you on that phone call. But we're here to make sure you have an understanding, you have a good feel for it, and then we'll give you some options on moving forward. Let's do this. And I thank you for spending all this time with me on this video. It's been a long one, but hopefully it's really put your mind in a situation where it's starting to turn. And you're starting to see, okay, I see what he's saying. I see what he's saying. Let me look into this further. Y'all have a good day. Thanks for spending time again, and we'll talk soon. All right? God bless.